Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We are using Mishkan Tefillah, our blue prayer books, and we begin on page 128, Hinei Ma Tov, how good it is to be sitting together. Hinei Ma Tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. We read together on page 124 at the top. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. And we turn back to 120 to light our candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav metzivanu lehatlikne shel Shabbat. We turn the page and rise for those who are able for our Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'asei bereishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh Seichel litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu bacharta beotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. Please be seated. We turn to page 127. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace, and we turn to the pinnacle of Kabbalat Shabbat and welcome the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi on page 138. Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechan Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha tishmianu El hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem ultiferet v'litila Lechan Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechan Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu b'nei el-chakim mekor ha-bracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'asei b'machasham b'techila Lechan Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechan Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri, hitoreri ki ba'orech kumi ori, uri, uri shir daveri kevod Adonai alayich nigla Lechan Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechan Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and welcome the Shabbat bride לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לחנדונתי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Please be seated. We read together on page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the majesty, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. On the next page, the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah be'alma tivrach yirutei ve'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'b'yamechon u'b'chay dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala ubizman kariv ve'imeru amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulal me'almaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma me'imeru amen. For those who are able, we rise for Baruch Hu on the next page. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai. Please be seated. Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim uvitvuna meshane itim umachalif et hazmanim umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or Uma'avir yom umevi laila umavdil ben yom uvein laila Adonai tzevaot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam ba'ed Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. On page 150, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu uvkumeinu, nasiach mechukecha, v'nismach medivrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha, leolam va'ed, ki hei mechayenu, be'orech yameinu, ubahem nehkeh yomam v'layla. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam, Leolam ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, לחיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. You're on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it eternally is Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Our song of redemption, Mi Chamocha. Bye bye bim bidi bye ba bye bye bim bye bye bim bidi bye ba bye bim bye bye ba bye bye ba bye bim bye bye ba bye ba bye bim bye. Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Torah tehilot osei מלכותך ראו ובניך בוקע ים לבני משה ומרים זה לי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. We read on page 161 together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. The next page. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Mehamidenu shomreinu We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We sing Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti le'olam le'olam ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ubayom hashmi'i Shabbat vayinafash. On page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. For those who are able, we rise for our Amidah, our Tefillah, on page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. For those whose custom it is, you may be seated. We read on page 173 together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel u'tehil l'ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha El Karov Lechol Korea Penei Elafatecha Bechonenu Shefoch Ruchacha Aleinu Betechezena Einenu Beshuvcha Letzion page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Beto beinecha levarech et zamcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for silent meditation. Yihyul ratzon imre fi. Yihyul ratzon imre fi. V'hagion libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri v'goalhi. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, Yaseh shalom aleinu me'al kol Yisrael me'imeru ve'imeru. It's at this time in our service that we think of those in our community, our family, our friends, those who are in need of healing, of body or spirit. The congregation sends its well wishes to Linda Applebaum, Cindy Silberman Bailey, Sophia Barry, Harold Seitlin, Deborah Chargois, Karen Edwards, Ruth Grafman Fromstein, Edward Goldberg, Barbara Goldstone, Elaine Gross, Josie Hatfield, Evelyn Held, Donald and Maida Himmel, Norma Jill Jacobson, Corey Kessler, Lanny Klein, Bart Kolber, Jerry Lapidus, Wayne Lewis, Jeffrey Muss, David Siegel, Liz Slive, Christy St. Charles, Brenda Weinstein, Jesse Weisberg, and Elisa Rosemore Whitehead. Are there others people are thinking of tonight? Feel free to rise and share a name or just think of it in your mind. Absolutely. We had someone say, all those who are injured in Afghanistan, we are definitely thinking of all of them, and we'll mention them in those who died in Afghanistan for our Kaddish tonight. On 371, we have our Misha Berach. 371. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha La'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, For those who are able, we rise and turn to page 586 for our prayer in which we wish for a better world united under one God, the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shameach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liotze bereshit, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו Yizkor, we remember. Remember our people who suffered and died so that we could be free and secure. May their memory be more than a distant shadow. For their dreams left unfulfilled and lives taken too soon, we remember. Remember our brothers and sisters whose sacrifice kept the dream of democracy and justice alive. May their courage be our inspiration and strength. For life cut short and vision unrealized, we remember. Remember the fallen of our armed services, the victims of terror and tragedy. May the darkness of their loss not obscure the light of peace. They were in love with our land and in love with life. For the agony, the tears, the mothers and the fathers, for the children who were, and for the children yet to be, we remember. This Shabbat, we remember the following yard sites. Jack W. Ayland Sr., Ann S. Bayer, Yetta Benton, William L. Camp, Connie Cohen, Melvin Barkin Estroff, Sarah Friedman, Julius Goldstein, Muriel B. Goldstein, Amelia Grafman, Isidore Halpern, Pauline E. Yukvitz-Harris, Carolyn F. Heller, Julius L. Herman, Jenny Hersberg, Sarah Glass Hirsch, Matilda L. Holzer, Ruth Jacobs, Sylvia Jacobs, Murray A. Coslin, Kay Lehrer, Mose Levy, Janet Lieberman, May Locke, Helen Madelson, Josephine Benveniste May, Charles Brooke Mahaffey, Paulina Macon, Eleanor Melnikoff, Benjamin S. Mayer, Fred Michaelov, Nathan Naiman, Adele Overall, Barry Parks, Samuel Sandy Picard III, Sam Picard Sr., Blanche Rogoff, Dora Mayer Rubin, Anne Rose, Mary Borth Roth, Ralph Shaw, Evelyn Warner Silverstein, Ethelyn Slaughter, Max Slaughter, Doris L. Sugarman, Arnold Jules Tendit, J. Leon Turo, Julius Winger, Blanche Newman Wilson, and Harry Wolf. We also send our heartfelt condolences on the recent passings of Ronald Beasley, friend of Chase Callahan, Wilma Denny, mother of David Denny, Priscilla Leaf, mother of Brian and Heather, Lucian Hagedorn, husband of Jean, Bennett and Tucker Meads, friends of Jody Robinson, Susie Ovson, sister of Kathy and David Ovson, or Kathy Friedman and David Ovson, Steve Petrovsky, nephew of Mark Petrovsky, and Margaret Sisson, mother of Jane Lester and Lester Siegel. If anybody has other names they'd like to share, please feel free to share them with us. We rise as one holy community and recite our Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudusha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, me'imeru amen. Please be seated. We conclude our service on page 625, Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra le'ed nasa b'chefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yiyeh betifara ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni lehamshil lo lehachmira beli reshit beli tachlit velo haoz ve'hamizra ve'hu eli ve'chai goali v'tzur chevli be'et tzara ve'hu nisi umanos li menat kosi beyom ekra beyado afkid ruchi be'et ishan be'aira be'im ruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira. Good Shabbos.